Warning, the following teaser contains graphic scenes of cuteness, zombies, and blood. Cute? Adorable? Zombie! All zombies must die.
There's one thing we're still to see on the show floor here at Gamescom, and that's the undead. Luckily enough, we've managed to fix that today with some of the best makeup, the most unique makeup you will see on the show floor. Obviously enough here presenting All Zombies Must Die, which is quite frankly one of the best game titles I have heard of yet. Aside from the name, what can you tell us about the game?
Okay, All Zombies Must Die is a spiritual successor to a game we made a couple of years back called Burn Zombie Burn. It's not a sequel, it's like I say, a spiritual successor. Basically it's a what we like to call an action RPG. So it's got all the elements of like a kind of jump-in action game, pick up and play. But it's also got the mechanics of a role-playing game where you can level up your character and you've got the stats. And of course it's got a hell of a lot of zombies.
And where is this specifically set then?
It's set in a fictional town called Dead Hill, and you play a character called Jack initially, and he basically finds himself in the middle in town square, and as a gamer he's actually quite excited to be in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and soon finds a shotgun, and you control him as he sets about dispatching the undead. And it charts his kind of story through Dead Hill, trying to escape, meeting up with the other three protagonists in the game, which is Rachel, his ex-girlfriend, which they left on not very good terms, a scientist called Brian, who seems to know what's going on, which you find out through the story, and then the last character is an alien called Luxo, and who's got a very foul mouth.
But it's a bit of an odd choice for the fourth character. Is that a curveball you're throwing in there, or does that fit in with a sort of? Are you going for a more sort of comedic sort of element to this whole adventure? Well, yeah, the whole game is a lot of like comedic situations and a lot of like pop culture references. It's a very self-aware game. We're not taking ourselves seriously, and we're trying to. What we had in BZB was a very comical and kind of like chaotic and frantic gameplay, and we wanted to kind of like encapsulate that in also the narrative and the dialogue of the characters. So they're not deep and meaningful. They fight and they curse each other, and yeah, so they have a relationship. Is this almost like Shaun of the Dead wrapped in Zombies Ate My Neighbors territory?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, yeah, we've got references to all that kind of stuff in the game. So you've got one of the weapons is a cricket bat, and that's a nod to Shaun, things like that.
Okay, well, obviously enough, it's being released on digital platforms. What is this gained you doing it digitally rather than having to worry about a retail release?
It's out in Q4 2011, so we haven't got a defined date yet, but we will do soon.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the game? Anything you think zombie fans will want to know and will want to love about this?
Well, I think we have the way we structure the narrative is that we don't just have being a zombie game. There are zombies, but we don't stick to that. And there's a lot of zombie types you meet throughout the game that kind of have different abilities and different attacks, and will test the player. And we also have, which is one of our big selling points, is that Burn Zombie Burn, our old game, had fire. And basically the fire affected the zombies and they were scared of it, and you could catch them alight. In this game we've got three more statuses. One's called Radiation, and that can turn the zombies into huge mutants. There's Sonic, that can basically makes them freeze with the sound of music, but basically makes them grow really angry and huge as well afterwards. And there's the last one, Shock, which again freezes them, but if you don't kill them in time, they're like a bolt of lightning and they'll come flying at you. And then later on in the game you'll find out that you can actually mix these status effects together, and you can play around with them, and you can wield them as weapons and equip them onto different weapons.
And how does the actual co-op work? Is it purely cooperative, or is there a little competitive element in there at all?
Yeah, so it's a 4-player local multiplayer. It's jump-in gameplay, so you don't have to wait for a lobby or anything like that. You can literally, if a friend's playing, you can pick up a controller and play next to him. It is co-op, and you do have to stick together. But we have a result screen every time you go through levels, and basically charts like who's the best player, who's the worst. We have medals to say if you're like a medal called like the ninja, if you've got the most kills and the least damage, or there's a medal called give up. If you've got the least kills and the most deaths, there's a medal called give up. So there's bragging rights, and there's a lot of like mickey taking you can do with your friends.
Well, how do you guys feel like coming from Burn Zombie Burn to this? I mean, how do you guys feel like you've progressed and grown as a development studio?
We've basically taken the core element that we thought our fans loved about BZB and just expanded on it and giving the player a longer experience than just the score chaser for BZB. So you've got the narrative, and you've got like the character development and the customization, like because you can craft weapons as well. So it's just giving the player a more extended experience, basically.
But you guys feel as an outfit, you've progressed so far to get from there to here. I mean, you've grown as a company, basically.
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot more, and this is our first Unreal project. It's all powered by Unreal, and yeah, we've learned a huge amounts, and all the feedback we got from Burn Zombie Burn, and just take us kind of like the next step, really.
And I think that's really about it. Unless there's anything else you want to add, do a zombie impression, whatnot.
Cute. Adorable. Zombie. All zombies must die.